Hello everybody, Moss here with a video about how to run Skyreach. So let's talk race and class. For class, you can be any magic class, doesn't matter. For race, it doesn't really matter. I mean, whatever you have. I'm a dark elf who uses all lightning, so it doesn't really matter. The only real prerequisites that you need Destruction Staff level 50, the Elemental Rage Ultimate, and the last passive. In addition, you'll also need Fighter's Guild, leveled to 10, and Banish the Wicked, leveled up. Banish the Wicked gives us huge amounts of ulti regen, and the Destruction Staff passive gives us huge amounts of magicka regen. So when we drop our Destruction Staff and it's actually killing the enemies, we have infinite mana, and by the time that our Destro ult is worn off, we'll have another one ready. In terms of other skills for the Sork, this last spot is a flex spot. You can put in here whatever you want. So I'm just leveling Efficient Purge because it's not leveled, but you can level. You can see that I have two-handed, one-handed shield, dual wield, and bow on a magicka character all leveled because I've just put slowly over time one skill and then just leveled it till it was 50. So you can put whatever you want here. On the front bar I have Streak, Blockade of Storms, Inner Light, Hardened Ward, and Hardened Ward is double barred, so I never miss my shield. On the back bar I have a movable Boundless Storm and Power Surge. I have a movable just for the immunity to knockback and disabling effects, but you can only use the skill if you're wearing 5 pieces of heavy, which I am because I'm a Sork and I have access to this class shield. So if you're like a DK has a class shield, a Nightblade doesn't, a Templar doesn't, so you'll have to kind of decide if you want to go light or heavy based on what class you have. Sorks are the best because they have a class shield and they also have Streak, and Streak is great. And then my ulti is Thunderous Rage on both bars. So for gear, I recommend when you first start out making yourself CP 150 training gear in Julianos. It doesn't have to be 160. 150 is way less expensive. It's only for Skyreach. Just make it all in training. 2-piece Grothdar, I transmuted mine into training, but you could also use Valken Scoria is also good. A lot of people have Valken Scoria. Don't feel like you need to go out and get special gear just for Skyreach. Using cheap shit is the best. I started with Willpower Jewelry, just because it's cheap. I started with blue Willpower Jewelry. Right now I have access to Infallible Aether, but you know, any 3-piece with Minor Slayer is good. So like Moondancer, Sororia, Infallible Aether, those are going to be like the next step up. And then I also have a Lightning Staff of Infallible Aether, so I'm using that. But for the longest time, I was just using CP 150 Torag's Pact training staves. Just gives me an extra 123 spell damage, right? Again, it's you don't need damage. Having too much damage is a bad thing. If you have too much damage, then you either spent too much gold, or you're losing out on having training on your gear, right? Grind your CP as you're grinding your friends. So that's it. I mean, Julianos, Valken Scoria, Grothdar, Willpower, and then whatever, right? Torag's Pact, just for a little bit of spell damage, right? All in training. No big deal. And then I guess the last thing is CP. The only thing that matters for CP, you can do whatever you want, but you want to have, in the ritual, you want to have at least 75 points in Thaumaturge. It's going to give you just all your skills or damage over times, right? So it's going to give more damage to that. The reason that you want 75 is so you can get this Exploiter passive. So, using lightning, everything's going to be off balance all the time, so it's just a little bit more damage. But that's all that I can really think of that's, relevant. Running Skyreach is not hard. People think it's difficult, but it's really not. You just got to make sure you get the right skills and that you know the pulls. So I'll show you what I do as I go along. So I'm just going to get all my buffs going. Oh shit. So before you start, you have your friend here with you. The going rate is about 5k gold if you're going to sell it. And a run, if you're timing yourself to see how efficient you are, a full run, including all the load screens, is 5 minutes long. 5.5 to 6 minutes long, sorry. So if you bring a friend down here, right, and they have a brand new character, make sure you ask them, like, do you have soul gems? Do you have repair kits? Are you wearing training gear? Have you unlocked the Fighter's Guild? Do you have experience scrolls or potions? Do you have the Witch Mother's boon, right? Do you have all of these extra bonus XP and everything, it's not worth running unless, you know, the person is going to get the most out of it. I ran somebody the other day for like 45 minutes, and then they're like, oh, there's a double XP event going on? It's like, yeah, man. You know, especially if you're running your friend or a guildie, you want to make sure that you're leveling them the best you can, because it's your time too, right? Okay, so I'm going to get all my buffs going. As I move through, I'm alone, but if I was with a friend, I would tell the friend just to stay as close to me as possible. I want to try to tag everything. I want to try to hit everything so it's aggroed on me. And I'm going to tell my friend to do nothing, not to heal, just to kind of stay with me as best they can. There are these little skeleton bone piles, and you want to make sure that you tag them. If you don't hit them, then they're not going to aggro on you properly, and then later you'll find there's like some skeletons that are streaming in, which shouldn't really be there. Make sure I keep my buffs up. For me as a Sorc, I know that I need to recast all my buffs when my lightning form goes away. It's like a visual cue. So just before I get into this corner here, I'm going to recast all my buffs, cast a shield or two. I'm going to drop my Destro Alt right here, and then I just spam my shields. Watch my Max Magicka. It just goes up, and my shields are just spamming, just in a loop. I need to make sure that if I get feared, that I break free right away. There it is. Always got to break free out of fear. When my Destro Alt is down, I'm going to streak one time out to here, where these ranged guys are, and I'm going to drop it again. And that's it. I'm not going to cast my lightning form again, because it's almost finished. What are you doing behind the corner there, guy? That's it. I don't really bother picking up the stuff. That's pull number 1. It's 2 lightning ultimates, and that's it. Sneak past these purple guys. So there's 2 ways of doing this room. The first way is that you just pull everything in the room. So like I could unstealth right now and just pull everything. The second way, which is a little bit faster, is you just keep tight to this wall. You should do this anyway. You tell your friend to hide right here. As long as your friend is hiding right here, they can go into their menus, they can mess with their skills, they can unlock their level rewards, they can repair their gear. This is the only part during the run where they're safe and getting XP. So if they're like, if someone ever says like, oh, like I have to do this or that in the menus, you're like, no, don't do that. Wait for the second pull. We'll do it then, right? It's more important that you just keep moving. You get as many pulls as you can in an hour, right? Because their 150 XP scrolls are limited duration, so you want to make sure that you just keep running, which is why it's important to come prepared. So my way is that I activate this chest. I would activate it now, and then I'd pull the room. The only problem with that is that you end up with some of the mages that stand in the back, and then you have to kind of like trick them and pull them into the Destro Alt. So I'm just going to show you how, so the way that you do it, the easy way is this. You just pull this whole room first, just like this. Make sure I'm going to cast my buffs again. You just get everything, pull everything, tag everything. Your friend is going to still be standing on top of you for this one because they can't hide in that corner. They'll lose all the XP. And then you drop your Destro Alt right on this corner, and you just line of sight around the corner, and everything has to come in and run through the Destro Alt. Those guys do not, but I mean everything is weak and will just die to, you know, regular attacks. There's got to be more coming. Why are those skeletons still there? This happened last time I did it too. Cast my buffs again. Very strange. Gotta make sure I don't get feared. It's those ghosts. When those ghosts shoot the bigger ghosts at you, that's the mechanic. That's the thing that fears you. So you can even predict when it's coming. So when the room is clear, you just go and pop this chest. And then after that, everything either spawns directly on the chest or is a melee creature. So it'll just come and stand in your Destro Alt. So at this point, you know, this is a lot easier because you don't have to move from the chest. You just, you know, heavy attack and drop whatever damage skills you have. It's really simple. It's kind of silly. This is the easiest part if you do it this way, right? Just gonna drop my Destro Alt, I guess. Cast my buffs. Spam a shield. Easy mode. So if I was doing it the other way, like there'd be Archer standing out over here, right? So I would move myself over here as I drop my Destro Alt so that they would kind of walk into it. It becomes a lot more chaotic, but again, it's a little bit more fun because you have to actually think and do something. And it's why are there skeletons in the corners? Crazy. It's a buggy game. They shouldn't be there. They should have died already. Maybe they just reset. Weird. yeah, I mean, really not much going on here. Look, that alt expired, and I have 360 ultimate by the time my alt ran out. The very end is when there's a one skeleton and one flesh colossus. That's the end. That's the last two. That chest opens. I don't worry too much about the chest because you just get full of garbage gear anyway, and then you don't want to take time with merchants and stuff. You want to just keep moving. You're here for XP, not for farm. I mean, the repair bill gets kind of bad, right? But repair kits are expensive. But sometimes I'll pick stuff up, and when my inventory gets full, then I just then I'm just picking up gold from that point forward. But I don't worry too much about the gear. I'm just gonna pop a potion right there. So I'm not worried. I'm not, I've got a lot of pressure on me, but I'm not, panicked. Just gonna walk if I need to. I stay ahead of all their AoEs. If I feel like I need to, I can just streak to get away. So I pulled them all. You can see on the minimap where I am, but I pulled them all right here. Drop my Desert Ult on the stairs. Gonna make sure I have all my buffs up again, and then I'm just spamming shields. Skyreach will be a little bit harder in Murkmire because of the way that they're changing shields, so that they have, way more of a limited size, right? They're going to be 40% of your max health, so you'll have to spam them a little bit more often, but it shouldn't be a problem, and that's it. That's the whole thing. So to reset, what I do is I find my friend right here, and I remove them from group, and then I immediately add them to group again. And if you do that, it brings you outside of the dungeon, and from there you can just walk back in and do it all over again. Alright guys, so I hope that was useful and helpful, and I hope you have a good double XP event, and that I see you guys out there in Cyrodiil with your nice fleshed out leveled characters.